Hey there. This is Daniel's voice. I have to say whatever German dudes tells me to. Not that I have my own opinion, but I love German dude. If you do too, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. What's a weird childhood ritual you still do today? I always make sure to say goodbye to all the household pets before leaving. I tell my cat he's in charge of the house while I'm out. Cat's thinking, who do you think is in charge of it while you're here? When I was a kid, my dad would surprise my sister and I with junk night. We'd go to the grocery store and he'd buy us anything we'd want for the night. Candy, popcorn, surge soda, ice cream, etc. Then we'd get pizza or McDonald's and a video rental and have fun all night. He only did it like twice a year, but it was always a surprise and so exciting. I still do that with my girlfriend and I'll do it for my kids when I have them. Edit. I'm so glad to hear everyone who wants to share this tradition with their family. You guys are awesome. That sounds amazing. My wife is directing a play this weekend, and it's just me and me son each evening. Junk weekend. Walk along ledges instead of the footpath. I still do this. I also find myself strategically avoiding cracks in the sidewalk. Well, I mean, do you really want to break your mother's back? When I was younger, I'd help my mum fold bed sheets. You know, we each grab an end, put the corners together twice to fold lengthways, and then walk towards each other to fold widthways. I used to always give my mum a hug at the end of it, with the bed sheets pressed between us. This would repeat for as many sheets as we needed to fold, 1 or 2 or 3, you know. Now I am 33 years old, and when me and my wife fold sheets together, we end it with a hug. Plus she gets a little kiss. Edit. Thank you kind people for my first ever silver and gold. This is the cutest thing I've ever read. Whenever I eat, I always leave the best for last. Eat a little of the good part first, then move on to the less good parts. If the world ends in the middle of my meal, I don't want to miss out. When I was 6, me and my father made a cute little handshake. We did every day when he left for work and when he would come home. Now, 27, I still do it when I see my dad. One day when I have kids, I'm going to pass it down to them. That will make your dad so happy. When my kids were little, we would take turns making up a story before bed. My daughter now does this with my grandson. It makes me so happy to know that this bedtime routine meant so much to her. Rushing upstairs or into bed after turning out the light. Sometimes I try to walk to prove to myself I can do it, but then I hear something and the adrenaline kicks in, so I book it. This is completely me. I'm just like tonight. I shall be brave and walk up casually. Takes about 4 steps. Here's small noise. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Whenever I go up my staircase, I still climb my way up. My kid calls it 4WD. Lol, your kid is going places. Yeah, upstairs. I still bite the head and legs off of animal crackers before eating the rest of the cracker. I always eat the legs first so they can't run away. I like to hear them scream too. Whenever I eat a sandwich, I start from the crust, so I have all the fluffy part in the end. Been doing this since I was 5. I do this with Pop-Tarts. Once when I was a teenager, I was all dressed up for something, in heels, and I did a little mock tap dance in the kitchen. My mom looked at me with a little smile on her face and said, "You know, you used to do that when you were 2 years old anytime you wore your dress shoes." Still do. Dress shoes are for tap dancing. Fancy shoes are definitely for tap. I have a galley kitchen that leads through the center of my house. I like to do the traveling triple buffalo along its length to make my soul laugh. Although now I am larger and actually sound like a buffalo hoofing along. Tap dancing is forever. Make sure the tongs still work every time I pick them up. Gotta make the click clack noise. Still sit in the shower like I did when I was a kid. Hell if I'm gonna stand there for the most relaxing time of the day. Edit. A few recurring questions I've gotten. I just sit in the shower, don't have a chair, but now I'm thinking of it. I do clean my shower regularly so it's quite clean. Also, I don't sit when I'm not at home. Seems gross to me. I do it regardless of if I'm in the throes of depression or feeling good. Same. For some reason, I've always called it my defrost time. In the morning I have my James Bond shower. It gets progressively hotter, then blasted on the coldest setting for however long I can take it. It wakes me up and gets me ready for my day of misery. Then when I come home I just have a nice warm hot shower and just decompress with no temperature change. I can't sleep with any limbs hanging off my bed or the dead dog will lick me. Ah fuck me, you had to bring it up. When I was a child my mother made a large round rug out of old pants. It's beautiful with lots of bright colors. We loved racing around it as children, pretending it was a round racetrack or doing a Indian dance around pretending that the red center was our fire. As an adult my mother gave me her old rug. I saved it from being trashed as it had no special meaning to her. When I'm pacing my house while talking on the phone or thinking, I catch myself walking around in circles on the rug. It's like my own personal sticky trap. Here's a pic of the rug found in his comment history. Not sure why it wasn't posted under here. Cool rug though. Was actually much nicer than I pictured from the old pants description. Thanks, not what I was expecting at all. I imagined just a bunch of unaltered pants stitched together, but this is cooler. When I go to the beach I always draw a circle around our stuff. Yeah, no. To protect us from the sea bear. There's no CB. The circle works, guys. When I was a kid, I'd always eat one thing on my plate at a time. Unless it was something like corn and mashed potatoes, then I'd mix that together. I'm a grown man these days, still eating everything individually off my plate. Apparently it's noticeable because people have questioned me about it. These days I just tell them that if I'm poisoned by my constituents, they'll know which item was poisoned. If I can't sleep on my stomach with my right knee pulled up and left arm straight out under my head, I can't sleep. Sucks when you have shoulder issues. This is going to sound silly, but every night before I fall asleep I lay in bed and write stories in my head. I thought I would grow out of it eventually, but now the stories are just way more complex, lol. I thought it was just me. I have an elaborate sci-fi story going on and have done for years. I never remember any of it until I start falling asleep. When I'm on a hike I pick up a rock and carry it for about an hour. Then I put it down in a nice spot. I've done that since I was a kid so rocks could change horizons and see the world. When I'm on a hike I pick up a rock and carry it for about an hour. Then I put it down in a nice spot. I've done that since I was a kid so rocks could change horizons and see the world. That's adorable. I guess. It used to be a real moral dilemma as I debated uprooting the rock and taking him away from his family, but ultimately I always end up doing it. I sort multicolored candies, Skittles, M&M's, etc. into their respective color groups and eat them one color at a time. But I save one of each color for last, and eat that group all at once. Always take a sip of the water before I swallow a pill with it. Gotta make sure the throat works. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Just wanted to thank everyone for the upvotes. Made my day. You'll rock. Edit 2. My first gold. Wouldn't have guessed me having to check if my throat works would bring me such joy. Thank you. As a kid, I was terrified of vampires, due to watching the original made-for-TV Salem's Lot. I convinced myself that if I slept with the covers up to my chin, they couldn't bite my neck. Didn't work, but I still sleep with covers up to my neck when I lay down in my coffin in the morning. TV Salem's Lot, the scene where he's floating outside the window is fucking creepy. My mum taught me and my brothers about the superstitions with magpies when I was young. Seeing a magpie alone is bad luck, but you could get rid of the bad luck by saying, "Hello Mr. Magpie, how are you and your family today?" None of us believed the superstition, but we still do it. If I'm in public, they get a little salute, but still ask the question in my head. "Good morning Mr. Magpie. How's your wife and children?" I got told it defeats the bad luck of seeing a singular magpie. Saluting makes me feel like less of a loon for taking to myself. Suppose I still do, saluting at a bird.